What's up, my people? I be Douglas here. Happy weekend. Welcome to another beautiful Saturday. In today's poster breakdown design series, I'll be showing you guys how I was able to achieve this wedding poster. By the way, if you are new to this channel, you are highly welcome. Do well to hit the subscribe button and click the bell if you wish to see more videos like this in the future. All right, so without wasting much of your time, let's just get straight to it. I'm going to turn off my second artboard so we could focus on this. So I'm just going to turn off my artboards and we will start from scratch. All right, so first thing I did was to add my background color, right? I added this color. I'm sure you saw something different. I'll explain at the end. So I added this red color, and the next thing I did was to add this pattern. I call this pattern jagged BG. I think I got this pattern from Pinterest. Let me just turn off the black and white, turn off the color overlay, and let's just take it back. This is how it is, right? This is how the background is. And so I applied this pin light effect. First and foremost, I converted it to black and white. That is what I always do. I converted it to black and white first before I went on the color overlay kind of thing. So converted to black and white. Sorry, this is locked. Converted to black and white, and then color overlay, and then I went to pin light. If I had left it like this, it would be kind of weird. So I went to pin light, so it gives me this kind of feel. So if I remove it like this, yeah, kind of thing. So that's what I did there. And then I added this logo. Now I created this logo on Coral Draw. It's like the initials of the couple, Precious and Isaac. I created it on Coral Draw and I exported it here as an SVG file. So how I was able to achieve this kind of glow effect was I just duplicated it. So this is it, right? This is it. And I duplicated that same text and then I added my Gaussian blur effect. So let me just turn off this layer and I'll just do another one so you guys can see. Just duplicate here and turn off my keys. So I've duplicated, and then you just on that duplicate you go to filter. I have a shortcut for it. Normally I'll just go straight to it. So this is my Gaussian blur effect, and the more you increase, you see this kind of, it gets blurry, but it's also giving like a glow effect. So you don't want something too shiny and all. So I just did that a little bit. Yeah, just what suits you and what you want. You could still reduce the opacity of that brightness if you want something very sharp and all that. So yeah, that was how I was able to achieve that. And then after that, the next thing I then now added was the couple's picture. I know that you're seeing some layers here, but I added the picture before I started adding those layers. So this is the image in black and white. It was edited in black and white, so there was no point for me to start changing it to black and white. So I did that, and then I added like a gradient overlay over it just to cover this area. Reason why I did that was I had to move the image up because I know I was going to add some things and I needed it to cover some. I didn't want it to just be down, right? I could have left it like this, but I took it up a little because of some things I wanted to add. And gradient overlay, adding this would also still create that room for me to put my text and every other details there. I then now added this pattern. Now this pattern, let me just take you straight to it. I'm going to remove it from this. I'm going to disable this used color dodge here. Let's take it to the normal. and let's increase the opacity. So this is how the pattern looks. This is how the pattern is, right? This is how the pattern is, pure black. I don't know the name of this pattern. I don't know the name actually. For I think on Pinterest, just search for maybe African patterns or some kind of thing. Yeah, I had this pattern actually on in my elements folder, but I don't know the name. Yeah, it wasn't something I downloaded recently. I just had it as one of my backgrounds. So what I did was I brought it here and then I reduced the opacity and then now apply the color dodge blend mode, right? Apply the color dodge blend mode and then added my layer mask. I added my layer mask here, and that was what enabled me to brush off some of these areas. I left some things here. I just brushed off some of these areas. So because I didn't want it to, just be on the face of the couple. I just wanted it to be here. Okay, so after I did that, these stars, I'll get to these stars. I added my text. The couple's name, Precious and Isaac. The name of this text is Beechwood. So you could download it on that font or Google. Yeah, that's the same font. That's what I used there. And then I added this Beyond the Stars. What I did here was similar thing I did with the couple's logo on the background. Is something quite similar but a different effect to it. So firstly, the name of the font I used is Callisto MT. That's the name of the font. So same thing here, I duplicated the font and then I added a motion blur effect. The first one I did was a Gaussian blur, but this one I did was a motion blur. So this is me duplicating that effect. I'm going to zoom this a little bit so you could see what I'm doing well. So come here when the second or when the copied or duplicated layer, click on this, go to blur, go to motion blur. I have a shortcut for that. It's going to tell you to convert to a smart object or to rasterize before this effect can be changed. So I'm going to choose smart object, and yeah, depending on what you want, you see it already giving that effect. You can even change the direction however it is you want it, but because I needed it to be straight, so my angle here is gonna be 0. So anything I'm doing here is just related to this. So the reason why I added this motion effect was also because of the name of the like the theme for the couple, Beyond the Stars, right? So I wanted to literally make the text have that kind of look, something that's kind of beyond, something fading away with speed and all that, something like that. I just wanted to give that effect, so that's why I did it. I'm just gonna turn this guy off, delete this and bring this guy here. And how could I have said Beyond the Stars without actually adding stars to this? Or so that's why I started adding stars and duplicating them. But before I added those stars and I started arranging it in different places, I had to finish every other thing. So this is my date and time. Go here, the same font I used for Beyond the Stars, that's the same font I used. Just click on it. You can see the same font, Callisto, and the same font here, Callisto MT. So that's basically the same font. And then I added my flowers. Now these flowers, there's a way I positioned it, right? This is the first flower. This is how the flower is. Oh, sorry, I'm moving it together as a folder. Let me select the first one. So this is how the flower is. This is one flower. If I disable the layer mask, this is how it is. So what I did here was I just added a layer mask to it and then use my brush tool to clean off I use my brush. If I come here now and use my brush tool, let's make sure this is black. Sorry, I'm just gonna change this swatch here to black. Change it to black, and I brush off. You see that I'm brushing it out. Once it's black and you use your brush to brush it out, if you use X, change it to white, and see that I'm bringing it back. Okay, so that's just what I did there. Just take it back, and I just positioned it. Sorry, I just positioned it at the middle so it could like point to the name. Right, it was intentional actually. And then this second one here, the second flower, I'll disable this so you can see. This is it. Let me bring it out here. So this is how the flower is. So this is like the same thing. So I just positioned it this way, and then I mirrored it. Same thing here. That was also what I did here. I just mirrored it and also brought it to this other section. So it made it look as if the flower was like coming in from this angle, coming out from here, then give it that kind of look. So that was what I did there. And then I now added my logo there. And before I then now did the finishing touches, like I said, on the stars, I wanted to give actually that look or that feel. Since the theme for the couple is beyond the stars, I decided to literally add stars on the design. So this is where I started adding this. If you could see this star, if we zoom here, it looks like there is like a glow effect to it, right? I wanted the stars not to just be plain like that. I needed to add that glow effect, and that was with my Gaussian blow. By the way, if you want to learn how to, like if you want to create a star on Coral Draw, you just simply we'll just create a layer here. Just create a layer on top, and then you go to your polygon tool. Go to your polygon tool here. Click on polygon tool. Star has like 7 stars, 7 or to 8, I believe 7, 8, yeah. And then make sure your fill is black, depending on the color you want. Then no outline, still depending on what you want. And then you just draw. Now after you've drawn this, your properties, come to your properties panel, right? Go to your properties panel. You would see this section here where it shows this kind of star icon. It's showing 100%, so you just bring it down this, and if I want to increase this more, would increase this a little bit, you see, and then you see me, I'm bringing this down. But if I want to take it up, I can take it up a bit. I can decide to make this 8. Let me make this 8. So you see, I'm already creating that effect. So this is how to create a star. Just rotate it, and voila, you have your star. So that was how I was able to create that. Let me just open it. Yeah, so this is it. Created my star, duplicated that layer, and that layer I added a Gaussian blur to it. I've shown you how to add Gaussian blur. But I added Gaussian blur to it, and then I now reduced the opacity. It's in white, so you might not really see the whole thing here. So just duplicated it, then I rasterized the image before I added my Gaussian blur effect. Remember, you can either convert to smart object or you rasterize to add the effect. So I rasterized it and everything. When I finished, I grouped everything and then still converted it to a smart object. So this is the star. So I just positioned it in some different and strategic places. Let me make this. So added another star. I think I added a star there. So I think now you could now see why I said I was going to explain later why I didn't show these layers at first. Okay, and added another star behind there, and then I added another star here. I think that was everything, and that's it for the stars. And then my finishing touches, I then converted everything to one layer. Shown this before. you just come to the last layer, Shift Control Alternate E. So everything converts to one layer, and then you convert this to a smart object. This is my like personal shortcut. Shift Control. You could just right click and you convert to smart objects here. This is it. Convert to smart objects, and then you go to your camera raw and you finish everything. So after I had finished what I did on my camera raw, this is the design without hue and saturation. I added hue and saturation, but I'm going to get to that. So this is it, and then added camera raw. It made it a little bit crispy, and then I went to my hue and saturation. So let me just show you guys what I did here, how I achieved this purple effect. Okay, so I'm going to remove this, so just do it from the scratch. So Control U, hue and saturation, and then I just went to reds, click on reds, and then I just started playing with the colors. Yeah, just played with it, so you could see how I got this kind of purple effect. So very simple, just did that, click on OK, and voila, we're done. And then I didn't do any other thing again. I just duplicated that layer, which is what we have here. Wasn't another design, I just duplicated it, and I removed that hue and saturation. That's why we have these two designs. Okay. Oh, low battery. All right, so that is it. So we've come to the end of this video. The fonts for this video, including the pattern and the flowers, of all these elements that I've used here, aside the image and the couple's logo, are going to be in the resources folder. Remember, in my previous video, I created a resources folder where I'm going to be adding elements of what I use in creating the design. So you're going to find every element on this design in that resources folder. So do well to check the description below. You're going to have access to it. Okay, thank you so much. Do well to drop a comment on what you learned about this video if you found it helpful. Also do well to hit that like button, share this video to a designer today, and don't forget to also subscribe and click the bell so you could be among the first people to be updated on my future videos. All right guys, thank you so much, and see you next Saturday. Peace.